What kind of DJ speaker should you buy? Choosing the right DJ speaker can often be overwhelming. Should you go with a point source system, a column system, a hybrid system? Should you get a 2 or 3-way box? And do you even need a subwoofer? In this video, I'll break down each option so you can pick the perfect solution for your events. Let's get into it. Starting off with question number one, should you invest in a traditional point source system, column system, or hybrid system? Let's break down each of them. A point source speaker is usually a single box, 2 or 3-way, that produces all the frequencies from one location. Think QSC K12.2 or EV ETX12P. If you have no idea what a 2 or 3-way box is, don't worry about it. We'll get to it in just a little bit. But let's take a look at some of the pros of owning a point source system. Point source systems can get you high SPL at a relatively cheaper cost.
Very cool.
SPL stands for sound pressure levels and is basically a fancy way of saying how loud does it get, measured in decibels, also known as dB. Point source systems can be loud and often a cheaper alternative to column systems. For example, a Mackie DRM system, which consists of two 2-way 12-inch tops and two 18-inch subwoofers, can hit a maximum SPL of about 134 decibels at about $4,500 with covers. In comparison, EV's Evolve 70 column system, which is comprised of two speakers with 8 4.7-inch mid-range drivers and two 15-inch subwoofers, can hit a maximum SPL of about 133 decibels. They come in at about $6,200 before you buy covers.
If you broke, then just say that.
Point source speakers typically use horn-loaded compression drivers to create a controlled coverage pattern, often 90 degrees horizontal by 40 degrees vertical, so you can aim the sound exactly where you want it. That pointing ability focuses energy on your audience and minimizes unwanted reflections off walls or ceilings. Now for the cons. Point source systems are big, bulky, and anything but sleek. If you're doing a wedding or a polished corporate event, column systems might fit the vibe a little better. And because they're so bulky, you might have problems fitting them in the back of an SUV. So unless you have a van or a trailer, that's something you should consider.
Wow.
Let's talk coverage. Point source speakers beam sound in a cone, which means people that are way in the back or off to the side could end up in dead zones. Plus, thanks to the inverse square law, you lose about 6 decibels every time you double the distance from the speaker. You can't beat physics. Now let's look at column systems. These are those tall, slim enclosures that are packed with multiple small speakers, and usually paired with a subwoofer. Think EV Evolve series. They also come in 2 or 3-way configurations. Column systems have a lot to offer. They're tall and slim, so they blend right into a wedding or a corporate event without screaming, "I'm a speaker."
Nice.
They break down into compact pieces and weigh a fraction of a point source box. Perfect for fitting in an SUV or carrying solo. And thanks to their vertical driver array, everyone from front to back hears the exact same thing at the exact same level, so it minimizes dead zones. When it comes to column systems, the first con that comes to mind is price. Column systems are expensive. Well, the ones that are worth having are. The cost per decibel compared to a point source system is absolutely crazy. Also, they share one amplifier between the sub and the column, so that means that wattage is divided between all of the drivers.
Whack.
In contrast, a point source system gives each speaker its own amp, which means you get full power to every box. Finally, we have a hybrid system, which gives you the best of both worlds. A hybrid system is typically comprised of a self-powered column speaker paired with a self-powered point source subwoofer. Think RCF NXL14A and Sub 18AX combo. There is no weight benefit to hybrid systems. I mean, sure, the tops are light, but the subwoofers are usually pretty heavy. The bright side is you can get the look and coverage of a column speaker with the face-melting bass of a dedicated subwoofer. Now that we've broken down the different systems, let's talk about the difference between a 2-way and a 3-way speaker. A 2-way speaker uses 2 separate drivers to handle the full spectrum of sound. A traditional point source system typically has a low frequency driver that'll handle your lows and your mid-range, paired with a horn-loaded compression driver that'll handle the rest of the frequencies. Think QSC K12.2 or EV ETX12P. Column systems that use mid-bass drivers paired with a subwoofer are also a 2-way system. Think EV Evolve 70 or EVOX 12. 3-way speakers use 3 drivers to handle the full spectrum of sound. For a traditional point source system, it can have a dedicated subwoofer for low-end frequencies, a mid-bass driver for the mid-frequencies, and a compression driver or tweeter for the high frequencies. An example would be the EV ETX35P. In a column system, it'll typically have a subwoofer, mid-range drivers paired with a compression driver. Think Maui 44G2 or QSC KC12. Things to note. Adding a subwoofer to a 2-way top does not make the system a 3-way system. You cannot magically create a three-way system by just adding a subwoofer. Also, a speaker with three drivers is not technically a three-way system. It's only a three-way system if the three drivers handle three separate frequency bands. And lastly, do you need a subwoofer? My personal opinion is yes, you should own a subwoofer or two. The lowest frequency a full-range point source speaker can hit is between 50 and 60 Hz. Maybe as low as 45 Hz if you're willing to spend the money. Without a dedicated sub, you're going to miss an entire layer of sound. Kick drums, bass lines, and that low-end rumble that just fills a room. Now, do you need a subwoofer that's going to melt faces? That's completely up to you, but you need a subwoofer to make sure that you have full sound. Beyond form factor and driver count, the spec sheet itself can often be misleading. So here's what really matters. Don't get lost in wattage and focus on max SPL and efficiency. A 2000 watt rating means nothing if the speaker only converts a fraction of that into sound. Higher efficiency often beats higher wattage on paper. And lastly, when choosing a manufacturer to buy from, make sure you do your research. Some companies source parts from other manufacturers to build their products. On the other hand, there are companies that design every last piece that goes into their speaker. Your best bet is to go with the manufacturer that designs everything in the speaker. When a company has complete control over the design process, the product tends to be a little bit better. So, what kind of DJ speaker should you buy? Truth is, only you can answer that. It all comes down to your specific needs. Before you pull the trigger, ask yourself, what's your typical crowd size? How will you transport a larger setup? And can you lift heavy speakers? And most importantly, what's your budget? Weigh those answers against the pros and cons of each setup and you'll get the perfect system for your needs. Viewers, I leave it up to you. Are you in the market for a new set of speakers? What are you thinking of getting? Leave it in the comments. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you so much for watching. If you found anything valuable in the content, please subscribe to the channel. We have a bunch of videos going over the tech that we use as DJs with a lot more coming down the pipeline. I'm Seth Velez, aka DJ Seth V. This is DJ Tech Tips. Thank you for watching, and we out.